tonight. Now, it is emerging that Communications Authority Boss Director General Ezra Chiloba was suspended over alleged abuse of a mortgage scheme. A report by the Special Board Audit and Risk Assurance Committee has lifted the lid on what guided the board's decision, which included alleged irregularities in the management of the authority's staff mortgage scheme. Chimtai Goin has more details.
Monday evening, Kenyans were shocked following the release of an internal memo from the Communications Authority, where the board chairperson Mary Mungai announced the board's decision to suspend Director General Ezra Chiloba and replace him with Christopher Wambua on acting capacity. The memo, however, failed to disclose the reason for his suspension, as it appeared the board had been holed up in a lengthy meeting.
There were allegations of irregularities within the mortgage scheme, and it's part of the oversight which the board has been working on. There are many other things.
According to a report by the Special Board Audit and Risk Assurance Committee, there seemed to be a collusion in valuation of mortgage schemes, resulting in loss of millions of shillings. The audit team found that the value of properties was inflated. In some cases, valuation by the privately contracted firms and that conducted by government valuers could vary as high as 20%. On April 26, 2023, the Staff Matters and Administration Committee, SMAC, held a meeting to deliberate why the Communications Authority management had not implemented the February 21st board resolution that required the authority to have a pre-qualified panel of valuers after it emerged that the scheme beneficiaries were using privately sourced valuers to overprice property being considered for purchase. SMSC recommended the sanctioning of some officers and also an inquiry into the operations of the mortgage scheme. The board, which held its meeting Monday, suspended Chiloba for, among other things, conflict of interest, where he applied for and self-approved a mortgage loan to facilitate the purchase of property without subjecting the transaction details to interrogation and approval by a high authority. The 7-acre property purchased at 25 million shillings went against the 1-acre limit approved for the scheme, and that further, the 25 million shillings disbursed to the seller, Kitale Hillmost Limited, was actually a company where Chiloba was the sole shareholder and sole director. The suspended Director General was also accused of clearing exiting staff without reviewing their debt obligations, as it emerged that over 28 million shillings was owed by former staff in mortgages that were now in default, further attracting an over 1 million shillings interest. Other than Chiloba, other staff set to face sanctions are the human resource directors, cutting across different periods, who are faced with gross misconduct charges. They are also accused of failing to identify and recruit qualified valuers, exposing the authority to risk. The former Director Legal Affairs Mercy Wanjau, now the current Secretary to the Cabinet, and her successor Japhet Odhiambo also face similar charges of gross misconduct after failing to submit the required approval for construction application, exposing the authority to possible loss of 43 million shillings. The finance director too is on the board's radar for clearing staff without reviewing their mortgage debts and further understating loan balances for former employees without factoring the interest component. The Director of Internal Audit and Risk Assessment, Rosalind Murithi, is also waiting to know her fate after the audit found her to have failed to audit high-risk areas, leaving the mandate to the board. She's also said to have failed to disclose that she was a beneficiary of the mortgage scheme and failed to effectively advise the board on how to streamline the system. What remains to be seen is whether the new information will affect the duty of Secretary to the Cabinet, Mercy Wanjau, and what fate will befall the other directors. As of June 2023, funds under the mortgage scheme was over 662 million shillings, broken down further into 4 products: 72.24 million in construction loans, 196.47 million shillings in house purchase loans, 364.82 million shillings marked for loan refinancing, and 28.87 million shillings in outstanding loan balances for former staff. Chimtai Goin, Citizen TV.
Kenyan motorists are now flocking